excited here to be talking to Chris Williams, who has a wonderful program about group coaching and running an agency that I have been a member of, I guess, for about 2 years now. So I'm really excited. We're going to talk about pricing your group coaching program. And Chris, you want to introduce yourself and talk a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, and for all of you awesome people who get to hang out with Emma occasionally, like, isn't she the best? Like, I'm so excited about this. So, after knowing Emma for a couple of years, like, truly excited about this. So, at Group Coach Nation, we just simply help people build their high-end, high-ticket masterminds or group coaching programs. We take experts, authors, teachers, coaches, particularly people who help people make money or time and help them build that high-ticket mastermind or group coaching program. So, in the space, just to clarify this, Emma, for you and everybody else listening and watching or reading, in the space that we're talking about, I don't know a lot about people who are helping with health and wellness
Mhm.
or more woo type products and services. We deal with a lot of efficiency, a lot of money making, marketing, people who are helping people grow typically their businesses.
Good. That's a good clarification to make.
Cool. Yeah.
So I guess let's start just with a little bit of sort of what you think the most important parts of pricing a group coaching program would be, the things to consider.
Cool. Yeah. And let's just dive into the data here, folks. I've got with thousands of people at Group Coach Nation that have come through our like some level of our programs. I've spreadsheets pulled up right in front of me. I have lots of data here. So I'll just get my opinion out of the way and go straight to the real thing. The most important thing about pricing your mastermind, I think that makes the biggest difference, honestly, is the coach's mindset around pricing. I wish there was it'd be so much easier, right, if it wasn't in our heads. As
Yeah.
humans, we're the worst thing to ourselves, right? We talk ourselves out of it. But really, the transformation that each of us bring in our markets, we have a done for you service. Often that's where we start, and then we do some one-on-one coaching. Usually we start, and then we kind of get more efficient as we go because we realize, oh my gosh, I don't have any more time left, right? So the coaching space, the done for you space, the services space, bringing a transformation to a client is easy to measure. If they did exactly what you said to do for an entire 12 months, if you're doing done for you services and they give you all the content, all the stuff you need to get your work done, or if they take all your advice and do it for 12 months, what kind of impact would you have on their time or money, their life, their business? You can measure that and say, well, wow, they'd double or triple or quadruple their income, or they'd cut their time in half, or they'd make an extra $500,000 a year, whatever that number is. Once you can quantify that, you can say, well, I'm going to charge, let's pick a number, 10%, 20% of that to get them through that process. All right. Let's just say that if they did everything I said to do, they'd make $500,000 this year. Cool. I'm going to charge 20% of that. So I could charge $100,000 for someone to go through my process. Holy cow. That might sound like a little or a lot, depending on everybody's subjective view of money, right? But here's where the rub is, Emma. The people who think $100,000 is a lot don't sell it right. The people who think $100,000 is a little sell it just fine.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, we're not the ones buying our own products. It's somebody else. So we got to get our own mindset about money out of the picture and just deal with the facts. Here's the value. Here's what we do. Is that something you'd like to take advantage of?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's so true. And I think the ability to say the number out loud with confidence is one of the things people struggle with the most.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's so true. And for most of us, let's just right down the middle here, let's be honest, we're not starting this group coaching process or mastermind process with an extra couple of $1,000,000 in the bank. For most of us, we've started this journey with like looking for another way to generate income for our families, right? So this step is usually taken at its infancy with a low bank account or relatively low compared to what we think it should be. And so we're pre-programmed to flinch at a higher dollar amount. And once you've been doing it for a couple of years, you're like, oh, I can't believe I only charged $5,000 or $10,000 or $50,000, whatever, when you first started. But you get there.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you think the person you're selling to, the type of person they are, the type of business they run, has any bearing on the amount you charge?
Yeah, I think it comes down to two things there then. One, what's the transformation you offer?
Yeah.
And two, where is that population you serve at the buying moment? Where are they financially? So if you can take a brand new entrepreneur who just quit their 9 to 5 or is just stepping into running their own business, and they might be flat broke, and you can make them a $100,000 a year entrepreneur in the first 3 months. Cool. But if they can't afford to pay you, then it doesn't matter what you believe.
Right.
So you kind of got to get, okay, I know the transformation I can offer, and I need to offer that only to people who are past that first initial startup stage.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, for many of us, Emma, I'm sure you've experienced this too. We all really like our passion. We want to help those people the most because they're the ones who really need it.
Right.
But I found over time that the people who are most successful at this group coaching process, they succeed at helping the new people, the beginners, most when they focus their marketing efforts on that middle to upper tier market level that can actually pay well
Yep.
and take advantage of it and have a few staff members, people that can actually get something done. And then you can bring the rest of the market up with a little more of your own time, money, and team members by offering them lower tier solutions to help them get started so they can take advantage of the bigger steps.
Yeah. So do you recommend that sort of when people are starting a group coaching program, that they're thinking about how they can take that program and turn it into some sort of DIY or course or something that they can offer people who can't afford to work directly with them yet?
Yeah, I think that's definitely what you should have in your mind. We're a huge fan of of teaching people how to get paid well, sell the high ticket offers immediately. Don't build this low end funnel that goes to a higher end offer. Like just start with the real thing.
Hmm.
That's pretty easy to start. And then you can use the resources, the recordings, all the stuff that come from doing the work with those higher end clients. You can then repurpose and break it out in little sections so that folks without those resources, but a little more time on their hands, can study and learn.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. What kind of data do you have that we would, be interested in diving into?
Yeah. So let's talk about building before you get paid or getting paid before you build. There is a like line in the sand, fire out in the middle of the field with two armies on both sides, the shore and the ocean, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, planet Earth and the rest of space.
Yep.
There is a huge dividing line between people who go out there and build products and services, seeing, oh, there's a need out there in the world. I'm going to create a solution. And then I'm going to go try to sell it, put it in a funnel, run ads to it, whatever. That's one category. The other category is people who are like, I think there's a need out there. I'm going to talk to a bunch of people and see if I can actually get a credit card swiped to help me fix their problem. And then I'm going to say, oh no, now I have to go build something because I just sold something. The difference between those two people is like success in the first 90 days to 6 months on the people who actually get paid before they build, or several years of trial and error if you go build something before you've actually gotten a commitment to pay you. And commitment, I don't mean, yes, I'll pay you if you figure that out. No, it's, I got your credit card swiped, you've already been charged, and now I'll figure it out. That data rift right there separates so much of what we teach at Group Coach Nation. Because as we've watched all these people go through the process at low end or high end levels or whatever their team capacity is, it is like there's nothing that makes a difference more in how long it takes to reach whatever level of success you want to have, like having a commitment to selling before you build.
Do you recommend that people sort of price test as they're going through that initial selling process?
Yeah, absolutely. If you're like saying, hey, I should be charging based on what Chris said, 10 or 20% of what the transformation is, I should be charging 10 grand
Mhm.
for a seat in my mastermind, just picking a number. Oh man, I'm so nervous about that. I don't know if I could say 10 grand. What if I didn't? It's great. Start with 5 grand, start with 2 grand. Like, don't cheat yourself. Honestly, if you're going to show up and be part of a coaching program as the host, you need to be charging 5 grand or more. Don't go below that. Okay. But if you're nervous about it, start with 5, start with 7, start with 10, start somewhere. And every 3 sales you make, increase your prices by 20%.
Yep. I like that.
We've talked about this before, Emma. Yeah. It's a simple model. Every 3 sales you make, increase your prices by 20%, go sell 3 more at that new price, and then go sell 3 more at the new price, and watch the data. Understand why the sales pattern is happening. It's really straightforward and simple, and it gets you there pretty quickly. Let me add one
Yeah.
more thing to that. Increase your prices until 50% of the people say no because of price alone. And that will tiptoe into a sales conversation here, Emma. So once you're going through a sales process and you keep increasing your prices 20% every 3 to 5 sales, and then 50% of the people are saying no. Now, you have to have a pretty well-defined sales process to know and to be able to measure, are those people saying no because they didn't understand the offer, or because they didn't have enough buy-in, or because the pricing, or because of some objection about timing, or whatever else might be. So we have to have a clearly defined sales process, not a hardcore script that's sleazy. I just mean a sales process that takes people through stages so you can segment out, where did the sale fall apart? And that helps you clarify, was it around pricing? Because most of the time it's honestly not.
Yeah.
Usually you can sort that out with somebody. It's some other misunderstanding or need situation, or they just they don't get it quite yet.
Mhm.
So if you can do that, then that increasing your prices actually works. You just got to have a sales process in place.
Yeah. So how do you track that in Group Coach Nation?
We track, how do we track the increase in prices or our sales structure?
Yeah, so, so I've increased the price here. This is the number of people I've talked to, what percentage are saying yes or no? What is it based on? Do you
Yeah.
have an advanced CRM system, or what do you
Yes,
work?
we do. Yeah, we do. Actually, we use Go High Level.
Okay.
We've used before that, we've used spreadsheets,
Yep.
and it's great. Like Google Sheets does it for free, right? So we just simply track, here's all the buyers, here's the price point, and then that they purchased at. And then if there's a payment plan, whatever, like what are the pricing details? And then I document out to the side, why or why not did the purchase happen or didn't happen. And Emma, this is the painful part of this. I actually go back and watch my own sales calls.
Yeah.
And it's like it being an athlete. Athletes are like watching themselves run around the track, or coaches like let their teams watch the game, whatever. I'm so not a team athlete, so I don't know how that works. but but that process really helps you like cringe at how you made the offer, because you're like, oh my gosh, that was so horrible. Or it helps you really clarify, oh, I see why I didn't buy. And
Mhm.
you're going to be like kicking yourself because you realize you could fix it, but it's too late.
Right.
So you can reach back out to that person and try again, or you can just write it down and learn from it and not make that mistake again.
Yeah.
Most people who sell high ticket offers and struggle is because they're repeating the same mistakes over and over again that they probably could avoid if they just watch their own recordings or listen to their own calls.
Mhm.
They probably don't even need a sales coach to figure it out. If
Yep.
you watched it, you'll realize how painful it was.
Yeah. I think no matter what, watching yourself is painful.
I
So
know, right? Yeah, you get to hear your voice. You're like, is that what I sound like?
yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
All right. So I want your perspective on payment plans for group coaching programs, high ticket items here. Are you for doing lots of different payment plans, having one payment plan, making it individual to the person? What's your take on that?
Yeah, so we've gone lots of different places with that as a brand, Group Coach Nation. But here's what's working best for us and for most people in our community. We track this as well.
Mhm.
Payment plans that extend beyond the term of the coaching period often fall off, right? Somebody's got what they need and they start to ghost. And that's not because the people are bad. You didn't, it's not, I'm not blaming anybody. It's just life, right? They're on to the next coaching program, life changes, whatever. So keep your payment plans inside the term of the coaching engagement.
Mhm.
That's rule number one. After that, quite honestly, you just got to experiment with your community. Do they need a certain level of payments broken into 5 payments, 2 payments, 3 payments? Some group coaching members in Group Coach Nation have weekly payment plans. Some do twice a month, some do monthly. We do monthly if we do a payment plan. I don't want to do it every week. That sounds annoying.
Yeah.
Some people love that. Okay.
Yeah.
And then bartering is another thing that comes up quite a bit. There
Mhm.
are sometimes you meet a person in your community like, well, dang, they need what I got. And I want them to be in my community, in my coaching program. but I need what they have too. And so there's ways you can just share resources, knowledge, et cetera, back and forth to boost both of your brands forward. Do that with caution,
Hmm.
because you want to make sure that you're making money, not just bartering your life away. But if you're going to pay someone to write the copy for your new website anyway, and you're working with like 3 copywriters that you're trying to get into your group, offer one of them a discount to help you with the, like, get the job done, right?
Yeah, yeah. I'm a big believer in bartering.
Mhm.
I think working together with other people just benefits everybody. So
I
I'm
agree.
with you on that. Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, in that being said, play safe with the tax rules in your own community, state. Look out, be sure and be honest with all that. But ultimately, helping each other make things happen is a
Yeah.
great way to do it.
Yeah. And my caveat to that is everybody needs to sign a contract.
Absolutely. Barter or no, we still, here's what we're agreeing to. Here's the terms.
Yeah.
Let's work.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, all right. What other data should we be looking at?
I think another big one is what should your coaching program look like? Like how many
Yep.
weeks should it be? Okay, so here's the sweet spot. 6 weeks is typically the low end of any coaching program. Like it's hard to make a transformation for 10, 12, 20 people, whatever, in 6 weeks or less.
Yeah.
Once you get to the year-long programs, that's kind of the high-end long-term group. Okay. Most of them fall, this is interesting to me, most of them fall between 8 and 12 weeks.
Yep.
And that's pretty consistent. Here's why, and I think this is what's important to understand. The reason for that is not just, okay, there's 2 views of how long the program should take. You got your view as the coach. You know your expertise, you know how long it takes to change someone's life, make transformation happen, whatever. Let's say you know you can help them change in 6 weeks. Cool. But if the person that's buying into your mastermind, they've already probably listened to all the podcasts, they've read all the books, they've been to the conferences, they've purchased a bunch of e-courses, and it just hasn't worked the way they hoped it would yet. So they're probably pretty beat up in their mindset. They don't think it can happen in 6 weeks. They think it might take them a couple of years at this point.
Yeah.
Somewhere between their expectation, which is probably too long, and your expectation, which is probably realistic, is the right amount.
Hmm.
So you want to get them in your program, and you want to say, look, this is a 12-week long process. And like, oh my gosh, in 12 weeks we can do that. You might be like, yeah, in 8 weeks we could do it. They can't get there yet. So yay, you're going to get to over deliver. Cool. But helping them buy in at a level where they can get their emotion around
Hmm.
a chance, a hope, a dream is so important, because they got to buy it. You don't have to buy it. They do. They got
Yeah.
to buy the belief, right? Anything longer than that 12 weeks kind of space, sometimes you get into the 16 weeks, but really once you're past that, that's really more of a like, we're making significant changes long term, and those programs get pretty expensive pretty
Yeah.
rapidly.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so here's another question. I think probably everybody who's run some sort of group program has run into the person who pays and then completely disappears and they never show up to anything. They never complete any of the work. What do you do when somebody has given you money and then they don't actually put any of their time into it?
We just let them keep living their life. I don't know what else to do. I hear you there. And that happens occasionally for us too. I guess it does in every program. And everybody says they have those people, but it's pretty rare at a high ticket level. It's
Yep.
pretty rare because people are invested, right? When it comes to e-courses and things like that, that happens
Yeah.
so often. It blows my mind how many people will buy something, a small digital product from us, and literally never log in.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
I guess they were excited and bought it, but we keep sending them emails, telling them how to take action on it, and I just do the thing. But in a high ticket program, it happens every now and then. It's pretty rare, but when it does happen, we just keep engaging them like we do everybody else in the audience,
Mhm.
and they do their thing.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a collection of people who buy into masterminds to say that they're in XYZ coaches or brands mastermind. And
Mhm.
and that's the value to them, is to be able to say that. That's okay. Like if that's what they're getting from that, that's fine.
Yeah.
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 Everybody has their own reasons.
Yeah.
I would love to lead a mastermind that was just that. Like, look, everybody just write me $50,000 checks, never show up. You can just say you hang out with Chris. Like, let's go.
miss out actually hanging out with you.
One more data point that I think is relevant here
Yeah.
is, what are you going to teach and how do you know what to teach? I think that's a big one.
Okay.
And the data around this is sloppy. So when I look at my spreadsheet, most people who come into Group Coach Nation don't have a curriculum figured out.
Mhm.
Okay. We get kind of, I'd say there's three broad categories of people that come into Group Coach Nation. And this is not a pitch for Group Coach Nation. This is like, here's what's on the spreadsheet.
Yeah.
First group is the beginners. All right. They don't have a clue what they're doing. And I'm not talking down to anybody. I used to be that person. So I don't know what curriculum I'm going to teach. I know I'm an expert. It kind of, in a soft sort of way, I got this idea around what I'm good at. But I think I know who will buy that. I think I could probably lead people through it, but it's all kind of fuzzy. All right. That's the beginners. Nothing wrong with that. Then we have two other groups over here. People who like have way too many leads, lots of business, and they can't handle it all. And they're moving to a group coaching model because they just need their life back.
Yeah.
They want to handle 20 people at a time instead of 20 one-on-one coaching sessions a week. All right. They have curriculum, they have an audience, they have everything done. They just need to like get the machine turned on and going.
Mhm.
Then there's this middle group that like either has the prospecting figured out, lots of flow coming in, they just don't know how to build curriculum, or they have curriculum but no prospects. Okay. That middle spot is like 80%, right? That's the big group. What you got to do there is, it's so important. We already talked about sell before you build. Make sure you're confirming that what you want to offer is sellable. Get people committed, swiping their credit cards before you start building. All you need to do though, here's where the data comes in around what content you need to have.
Mhm.
You need to have 1 to 2 weeks worth of content ready to teach in your mastermind. I don't mean your social media posts. I mean like real slides, real bullet points. We're going to take you from point A to point Z. Here's the process. You need to know what point A is. That's, here's where we're starting. We're all going to do a quiz together, a discovery theme together. We're going to document our dreams and goals together, whatever, something to let people clarify. Point Z is down there at the end. Everybody here signed up because they wanted to get their life back, have a marketing plan, build a podcast, launch whatever. Great. The steps in between are really going to come down to, what is that group asking for?
Mhm.
We all think we know how to go from A to Z, but by the time you're launching a mastermind, you've really gotten good at A through Q, and you've forgotten how hard that was. And you want to get them down there XYZ, but really they don't need that yet. You're gonna get to week 1 and they're gonna ask questions. You're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I forgot that was a question.
Yes.
Well, that's what you're going to talk about in week 2, right? So curriculum building is really simple. All you got to have is, I know what we're doing week 1. We're going to do a lot of discovery, a quiz, something to get people talking, introducing each other, whatever. I promise your week 2 and 3 will become very apparent
Mhm.
as you finish up week 1.
So
So,
you usually try to stay 1 to 2 weeks ahead of where you're teaching?
yeah,
Yeah.
sure do. And now with like lots of our programs, we've done it dozens and dozens of times. Like, it's pretty ironed out, right? But we're still like, every time we make a shift and teach something new, I go back to the same model.
Mhm.
Hey, you guys have been asking us to teach this process. So session 1 is, let's untangle this. What are you looking for? Where are you struggling? We're going to help you through that. And then my team and I are just frantically taking notes. We know how to do it. We just didn't know how basic it needed to be. It's always more basic than you think. It's always easier to create the curriculum than you think.
Yeah, yeah, no, I mean, I think that's one of the things is you forget so easily how it was in the beginning. You're like, "I know how to do this," and then somebody asks a question and exactly, you're like, "I totally was not even remembering that I was at that point at one point."
Yes. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
All right. So summing some of that up, Emma, is, first up, sell before you build, right? Never build in a dark, alone closet room. Like, that's just a disaster waiting to happen, wasting your life. Sell before you build. Get paid to build. I like to say get paid to build. All
Yeah.
right. Number 2, you got to have a prospect flow. All right. Everything revolves around, do you have enough lead flow coming in? That can be from referrals. If you have a referral process that's proven, you can drive it. It can be social media stuff, organic. It could be paid if you're a paid person. It could be going on podcasts and own your own show, whatever it is, whatever works for you, you got to own that. If you don't have a way to predictably generate on profile leads, you don't have a business. You're just getting lucky. For those of you listening or watching this, that quote right there should be in the written version on the blog post. That's the quote. If you don't have a way to predictably generate on profile leads, you don't have a business. You're just getting lucky.
Yeah, I like that.
Another coach told me that. He said, I paid $2,500 for this guy to go to lunch with me. It's like 15 years ago. And I was successful enough at that point to be able to pay somebody a consulting fee of $2,500 an hour. And I knew he was good. And he was asking why we're successful. It was all about referrals. I did not have a predictable way to generate referrals. I was just getting a lot of them because we were good at what we did. Mm-hmm. He's like, dude, if you don't have a way to predictably generate on profile leads, you don't have a business. You're just getting, he put an expletive in there, lucky. And ever since that moment, I've like dedicated my business models to figuring out what is the way that I'm going to predictably generate leads. That's it. If you can do that, you can do anything.
Yeah.
So get paid before you build. Make sure you have a predictable way to generate on-profile leads. And then don't sweat the rest. It will happen. It will happen.
All right. That's great. Thank you so much. I think this was really helpful, and I can't wait to get this all written up and put out there for everybody.
Awesome. Emma, you're the best. Like, you guys are just so cool. Love the way you do things.
Talk to you.
Thanks a ton.